Now, it's also worth remembering that this is the final, the A final as it's known, and earlier today there was a B final for those with less ambitions in terms of weight. But having said that, there's one man who puts 170 kilos on the bar, and that's only 5 kilos less than the standard, the world standard for the snatch, because actually nobody in the World Championships last year actually reached that. So we have a possibility of establishing a world record tonight. So Vadim Vakarichuk gets 2-1 against there, 160 kilos, but he's a little surprised.
Slow motion, yes. Absolutely nothing wrong with that lift at all.
Well, something must have caught the judge's eye. Let's have a look at another replay of that.
Well, on the overhead, no, bar goes straight to arm's length. He was given the down signal, and I think there's going to be a bit of a complaint about that one.
Now, if there is a complaint, they can't reverse the decision. What they can do is give him another lift.
Well, it looks as if he's going to be taking the same weight again.
Yes, he looked really surprised, and I think so will we. We'll see why if we discover. And I think this is the complaint. What on earth was that for?
Yes, I think the coach is now appealing to the jury. Molly Holland there with the glasses. And the jury, by the hand movements, seem to be worried about the rotation. But one of the rulings is that the two referees have to give the down signal. So obviously two were happy. So again, can't really see the reason for a failure.
Well, I wonder whether Vadim will, who represents Moldavia, will actually put that out of his mind and maybe go for a higher weight. Entirely possible. Now here comes Lars Kerr for his third and final lift. He comes from Frankfurt Oder, not to be confused with Frankfurt on Main. This is over the eastern side of Germany, very close to the Polish border, and the town associated with the river Oder over there. A soldier, and so far he's acquitted himself with credit. This would be good if he could get this 160.
Well, looking at that, I think we're going to be seeing rather a lot of this young man in the future.
Yes, the coach is pleased. Apparently there was quite a battle to get him here. One or two members of the federation weren't sure whether it was a wise investment. Well, I think if they've seen lifts, that their concern has been answered in the best possible way by this young man. He's only 23, and the Germans really building up now, a very good squad for the Olympics, which is now less than 2 years away. Well, you don't want to trip on your way up. It's not a good way to start your evening, but here is Vladimir Chlud for Belarus. In the middle of the body weight range, there's a spread of 0.84 of a kilo amongst the 11 finalists tonight.
Well, tripped on the way up the steps and then failed to complete the first phase of the lift. If we watch on the slow motion, not really getting the bar high enough, going underneath much too soon.
Well, we tested and tempted that he was going to come in at 160, but he's coming at 162.5, and the Turkish choir are straight into action. Although they've been a lot more sporting since Naim Suleimanoglu went and explained to them that weightlifters from all countries deserve encouragement. Ooh, very deep. He was low, and I thought he might have controlled that, but it just went back.
Yes, just looking at the slow motion, a very good pull, but not happy in that bottom position, and I feel perhaps not concentrating 100%, because really he should have held that.
So 162.5 is failed. And now Kunev, really experienced lifter, representing Australia, although as with so many of these lifters, they've emigrated, and this man formerly lifted for Bulgaria and had three world titles to his credit before he left for Australian shores. Well, not the start he would have liked. And he's a man you know pretty well, David, because having got Australian nationality, he went to Victoria to lift in the Commonwealth Games and won the title.
That's right. Commonwealth Games, he only managed to snatch 152.5. However, having said that, he did make an attempt at the world record and cleaned it. So I wonder if perhaps later this evening he too will be attempting a world record.
That'll be on the clean and jerk, certainly not on the snatch. And there's quite a lot of tension. This is a very competitive class. Now that was well controlled and held by Mikiashvili.
Yes, good extension in the pull. Nice and fast under the bar, and he can certainly be happy with that.
So he gets 162.5. He was almost a late addition to the lineup. We weren't expecting him to join the field, but so far so good for the 26-year-old Georgian. Still at 162.5 the bar.
Well, a second failure there for Klud.
He's under pressure now. Remember, you must get a total, a score in the snatch and the jerk if you want to get a total. Now, Kirill Kunev for Australia again. As well as his three world titles, he also collected 3 Europeans when he represented Bulgaria. Let's see whether he's thrived in the sunshine down under. This time, good lift. And this is a category, a weight category, 83.5 or 83 kilos, I should say, David, which you're pretty familiar with in your own right in lifting. This and 76.
That's right. I used to compete in the 82.5 kilo class. It was originally, and I had a few good competitions, a few good battles.
But it's true, it really is one of the classes which everybody wants to win. There are a lot more competitors in this category than quite a lot of others.
Yes, well, 13 stone, a lot of people at this weight.
So, Klud. No. Oh, 162.5, and he is the first man to fail to record a weight in the snatch, and that means his chances of a total have gone. And now he has that unenviable task of putting all of that out of his mind and going and concentrating on the clean and jerk. And it's not easy to do that because it's happened so early in the competition. He's not going to be unaware of the long wait.
That's right, it's going to be a real test. 3 failures really doesn't do much for your self-confidence, but having said that, there's 3 medals available and he can still go for the clean and jerk gold.
And still the 2 men who we're most looking forward to, the defending world champion Piros Dimas of Greece and also young Mark Huster of Germany to make their appearance. Sergei Chakoyan of Armenia, really good lifter, this man. 4th in the Europeans recently at Solkan, 165 kilos he lifted in the snatch then. Currently 5th in the world rankings. Look pretty nice.
Yes, good extension, very fast underneath the bar. And I think we're going to see him go a lot further than that.
Well, we're just 10 kilos now off the world standard. I remind you, the world record has yet to be truly established. The International Weightlifting Federation looking for the first lifter to pick up a bar with 175 kilos of weight. Now, Kapanik Xian for Armenia. He's the 2nd of their lifters out tonight. He's 26. Chakoyan, his teammate who just preceded him, also, or just a year younger, in fact. So a good lift for a man who's in fact moving up from the 76 kilo category to lift tonight in 83 kilos.
Yes, and doesn't he look good?
He also happens to be lightest man in tonight's field, as you might expect, which means that if it gets tight and he's up there in with a medal chance, he'll have perhaps that vital edge. Now, the man from Moldavia, his 2nd lift. Now, he failed at 160, Vadim Vakarichuk, and he's gone straight to 165. So he's going to try and keep to his lift plan. Gain a little bit of rotation. Now, are they going to turn him down again? No, not this time.
Well, that's the way to do it. The referees, in my opinion, gave the wrong decision on the 160, but he said, well, I'm going to take 165 anyway. I'm not to destroy my plan.
So this is Turkey's favourite son tonight, Sune Bulut, 27 years of age. He's got to lift the weight tonight because he's the heavy man in the class. He's 83.94.
Well, failed with his first at 162.5, moved up to 165, has a success, and still 1 attempt to go. Still having problems in that bottom position, but this time just managing to hold on.
Yes, I just wonder how much more he can handle in the snatch. Just to remind, yet reached the 170 kilos lifted by the Russian Andranik Maryrosian. That was in the B group this afternoon. Who knows, stranger things have happened, and they do happen in weightlifting from time to time, that a man from the lower group lifts a weight which ultimately gives him a medal.
Well, 3 in a row.
Xvid getting his 165. So the late entrant having a good set. But now more weight on the bar. Mark Huster, a man who some call the Tom Cruise of the German team with his good looks, but he's got talent to go with those looks. This, his entry weight, I think it's 167.5. So a very good start for this man. 24 years of age. And he's probably, David, Germany's big hope to win an overall title here, because he is the world record holder in the clean and jerk. And if he can put the pounds on here, he could set up a very good evening for himself.
Well, that's right. I mean, Mark Huster, not really thought of as a good snatcher, but looking pretty good today. Well,
he's, I suppose you would say, the challenger. That's Huster, and here's the man he's challenging, the defending champion, Pyros Dimos of Greek. Once again, a lifter who's left his original shores. He represented the Soviet Union, but these days does his lifting for the Greek nation.
And he likes everybody to know he's around.
Looking for traffic. Quite quick.
Yes, and incidentally, the surprise winner of the Olympic Games in Barcelona, 1992.
Yes, he reckons he's going to have to lift about 380, I should say, 380, 385 if he wants to keep his title.
Well, looking at Mark Huster, he may even have to lift a little bit more than that.
Well, so both the favourites off to a good start at 167.5 kilos. And there are plenty of other men who are determined not to let those two have it all their own way. So a failure for Kirill Kunev at 167.5, which leaves him at 162.5, and he'll be a bit disappointed with that, I think.
Yes, Kirill not really looking the same as he used to. He used to be much more of a competitor, but since he's been lifting for Australia, his heart doesn't really seem to be in it.
Well, here's the man who had the early setback. Vadim Vakatchuk, 167 on the bar, although the bar itself is 20 kilos of that weight that he's lifting. So this for, or I should say, to complete a good recovery. Surely that was good enough. Certainly was. Lifted 165 in the Europeans. So I think he'll be not too displeased with that at the end of the first phase of the competition.
No, that's right. Fouled with 160, didn't let it bother him. Moved up anyway, succeeded with 165 and also 167.5.
Yes, and you can see now that he does have that characteristic of that rotation.
Yes, but in the rules, the referees must not give the signal until they're happy that the lifter's feet are in line. They gave the signal.
Alexandra Blishuk for the Ukraine, European silver medalist. First lift for him. Now 170 kilos, it should be straightforward. Steadied for a long time in the low position to make sure. And 2-1, so let's spot the problem for at least one of the judges.
Well, in my opinion, the refereeing a little strict.
Maybe the right arm?
Possibly, but it looked good to me.
Well, the lift counts anyway. As Chakoin, Sergei Chakoin for Armenia comes on to the stage. He's lifted 165. Well, this is really developing nicely, this competition now. Gets that bar right above the head and the feet are right underneath. That's very good positioning. Kapanexian for Armenia. Second lift.
Of course, the lightest man in the competition, so this lift would give him the lead at the moment.
Oh, what a good job.
And considering he's giving away 3 kilos, he really is doing marvelously.
So he's got 170 as the heavy man returns. One more lift, and this is Sune Bullet. So even if he lifts this, he wrests the lead from his Armenian rival. So at the moment, it's the light man who has the call, Kapanexian of Armenia. So we still have the Armenian leader with one lift. Mark Hooster's only had one, so he's got 2 left. And now he's coming up for that second lift, 172.5 on the bar.
Which, of course, will put him into the lead.
Certainly will. And then we're only 2.5 kilos below the world standard. So the record possibility getting closer and closer. Well, he has the same sort of exuberance that Ingo Steenhoffel showed us yesterday, and the Germans are in good spirits. Frank Mantek, their head coach, seems to have got the boys well wound up for this.
Yes, I believe they're both their training partners. Very similar techniques.
Yes, Huster from Chemnitz, as it now is, Karl Markstad, as it used to be. So, the reply now at the same weight by the defending champion. Lifted 175 kilos in the snatch last year in the World Championships, but this year, major competitions around the 170 mark. So, this is a little bit of a test.
Yes, he's going to have to really work on the first phase, which he does. And just looks one way that time.
Well, it's clearly getting that little bit harder now. So both Huster and Dimas have one more attempt left, as has Chakoyan and Blashik of Ukraine. Sitting in the wings as well. And the Russian lifter, Adranik Mariosian, who I mentioned earlier, lifted 170 this afternoon, now seeing his medal chances disappear. Now this is Kapanexian for Armenia, the light man. This his third and final attempt.
Yes, Huster in the lead at the moment, but a success at this would put this man into the lead by virtue of body weight. And just not able to lock out the left arm. So Huster still in the lead.
Well, the light man's done well. Didn't really get that bar above his head, and then just didn't have the strength to drive.
That's right, really needed to pull the weight higher. Didn't quite pull it high enough.
So one by one, like milk bottles on a wall, the challengers disappear, and we're down to Blashik, the man who's going to try 175.5, and the significance of the half kilo is this is to create a world record. In reality, nobody's lifted 175 in competition. That's the standard set by the governing body of the sport. But to break it and set a new record, you've got to do a little bit better. So 1:05.5 for the first world record of the evening. He has one more attempt.
Yeah, it's not really getting enough height on the bar. Losing it in front. So Huster still leading.
The second of the two Armenians, Sergei Chakoyan, would love a medal at these championships. Just missed out in Solcan in the Europeans. He lifted 165, so 175.5 is a pretty good increase.
And yet another attempt at the world record. Looked good at 170.
You're looking at the first world record holder of the evening. And the Armenian squad absolutely delighted. Very good. That's his lifting finished. But is it going to be good enough for the gold medal? What medal might he get? Remember, there's still Blyshik. He's got a chance. Huster's got a chance. And so has Piros Demos. So it's going to do 177.5 surely for Huster. In fact, to 175.
Well, Huster obviously not going for the gold medal. Probably thinking more about the total.
Indeed. Clean and jerk, certainly his strongest discipline of the two. Just wants to make sure there'll be so few pounds between the lifters if he can get this, that that will really set him up nicely for his attack on the total.
Well, I think he's pleased with that one.
Oh, 2-1 against.
This refereeing this evening really seems to be a bit strict.
Well, refereeing is supposed to be strict. The lift is either well executed or correctly executed or not. Now, close look, David.
Well, can't see anything wrong with it.
Have a look at the left arm on the next replay. Joicing a fraction too early. Just look at the left arm.
Well, the left arm looks good to me. Maybe the shoulder rotated, but no, the shoulder rotated, but the arm didn't unlock. The feet are in line.
Well, the three judges around the platform, they're closer than we are. They're right on top of the action, and they're one in the center, one on either side, so they can see all aspects of the lift. And Mark Huster, from Absolute Joy, will now be plunged into the depths, and he's got to put that out of his mind, because that's a setback.
Well, he'll certainly be disappointed, because, again, to me, it looked good.
Now, this is an important lift now for the defending champion, Piros Demos. He was injured earlier on this season, but he's seemingly recovered.
And again, going for a new world record.
176. Final attempt. Well, he also finds himself left with 172.5. So that really does make body weight all important at the moment. It still therefore leaves the man from Armenia in charge of affairs. That's Sergei Chakoyan. And this is the only man from the Ukraine, Alexander Blyshik, the only man who could do anything about the world record, but it looks to me as if he's decided to concentrate on other matters, because his body weight is 82.68 kilos. Chakoyan is 82.10, so no chance of the gold.
No, obviously going for the silver, and has his mind on the total.
Well, these are the tactics of weightlifting. And 175.
Yeah, it's just looking at the slow motion. It's just too heavy. Not able to get enough height on the bar before dropping underneath. So he stays with 170.
Yes, he drops a long way back, and that completes the action for the snatch. And so one can safely say that the new world record holder is also the world champion in the snatch. His name, Sergei Chakyan of Armenia, 25 years of age. And what a good start to the championship for him. He wasn't the favourite, but he's put himself in a really good position now. So the clean and jerk still to come, along with a look back at some of yesterday's action. The success for Germany of Ingo Steenhöfel, I should say. And whilst the platforms prepared and the lifters prepare, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with the clean and jerk.
New Mazda 323 is so special, we don't need to shout. But for those who do, feel free.
Because the temperature's hardly what you'd call late summer or autumn, 10, 11. The first man to lift comes out at 190 kilos. He was also the first man to lift in the snatch. This is the younger and less experienced of the two Germans, Bethke, just 23. Interesting enough, he's just about the same weight as Mark Huster, just a fraction lighter, 0.6 of a kilo. Well, that's a nice opener, and I think, David, that being in the same weight category as Mark Huster, he'll learn a lot.
Well, that's right. Mark Huster has improved immensely over the last 4 years, and this man certainly got Mark to chase.
In fact, quite interesting about Mark Huster, when the unification of Germany came, an awful lot of athletes, particularly in the weightlifting classes, the former German Republic, DDR, Democratic Republic lifters, they really suffered, as did a lot of people. And Huster's just about the only one who maintained his form over the last 2, 3, 4 years.
Well, he more than maintained his form. He's actually improved non-stop.
Now here's a man who needs to improve very quickly. Vladimir Klud, 3-0 lifts in the snatch. Well, thank goodness for that. He's got one in the clean and jerk. And I think he was probably wise to come in at 190 and get one under the belt, as they say.
It's interesting, though, to note the inconsistency of the refereeing in this class. If you just look at the left arm, just unlocking slightly there, but 3 white lights.
I take it this is one of the occasions where if you had the red button under your finger, you would have used it.
That's right.
Well, the fan club are here. Istanbul, of course, with Olympic aspirations for the year 2004. They entered the Olympic bidding process for 2000. That was really to gain experience. And every international event they host here in Istanbul gives them a little bit more of that. Now, Germany's man, Lars, 195. It'd be very good, actually, if he can get all 6 lifts, improving each time at his first World Championships. He can go home and be very satisfied that his preparation and training have now delivered the goods.
Yes, that's right. Always nice to go to your first major World Championships and do 6 for 6.
Helps you get a grant anyway. Worked well.
Well,
buzzer didn't come, and he's not going to be given that.
Yes, as I said earlier, at least 2 of the referees have to be happy that the feet are in line and the lifter is motionless before they press the button.
And I think the longer he held that bar up there, the more the disbelief started to creep in.
And if we just look at the feet, perhaps we'll get an overhead. But he's...
Yeah, they never do actually stabilize, do they? They're just fractions of movement, but that's enough. Well, he's got another attempt after Klud, who's taking 195. Actually, Vladimir Klud and Lars Bethke, virtually the same weight, just 0.02 of a kilo. This man lighter. Couldn't hold it.
No, again, just not quite chucking the bar high enough, but a strong man because able to press the weight out. But positioning under the bar, far from perfect.
Yes, he needed to get that straight and high and right over the head, and he couldn't quite do that, and it was out the back door. He was out the front, whichever way you like to say it. But he will have a 3rd attempt. Now, Bethke. He'll have learnt from that, hopefully. The 2nd failure.
Yes, I think he was a bit upset that the judges didn't give him the down signal a bit sooner, so he'll be out to prove something on his 3rd attempt. Let's see if he can channel it into the lift. Oh, it looks very uncomfortable. And after a clean like that, it's very, very difficult to recover.
Well, he's got a total because he's got 190 to go with 160, which gives him 350, but you saw how long it took him there to get himself sorted out, and all those seconds and movements take the energy, sap the energy and the strength, and the lift eventually denied. But nonetheless, 350 kilos, nothing to be ashamed about on your first World Championship appearance. Well, Klud.
Could Klud? That's the question.
The hands much closer to the body for the snatch. Drives the clean up. This time looks as if he's just about there. The feet still, yes they are. And he gets it. So 195 is his score for the jerk. He doesn't get a total because he missed all 3 in the snatch.
Yes, and this time making no mistake. Bar going straight to arm's length in one movement.
The man who already is a world champion and a world record holder, and really the first world record holder after the weights were redefined just before last year's World Championships, or after the last Olympic Games. This weight was 82.5 kilos up till 1992.
Yes, he does look very strong overhead, this man.
197.5 gives him a nice opener. Yes, he gets it straight up there, doesn't he? Kiapanakshian for Armenia. Lifted 170 in the snatch, but not good enough for a medal. But he's in touch for the total. Well, he certainly knew he was lifting a weight there, but 197.5.
Yes, a very small man, visibly smaller than the other lifters. But, didn't seem to have much problem with 197.5.
Yes, as the Ukrainian Alexander Blashik comes on stage at 200 kilos. So things now beginning to move up significantly. The world record set by Mark Hooster last year in the World Championships, 210 kilos. Oh, it was very quick onto the shoulders.
Yes, very good in the first phase of the movement, but...
Now, did he get the buzzer? I don't think he did. Oh, he did. Well, that with a bit of noise in the hall.
It's very strong in the first phase. But really has to work hard to keep those arms straight. The referees are happy. It's good.
Sune Bullet. A little disappointing in the snatch. He failed at 170, he got 165, but it's left him a little bit adrift if he's got aspirations for the total. Just to remind you, this is the man who was lifting in the 90 kilo category, so he's dropped down to make the weight for 83 kilos, and he's come in here tonight at 82.94, so he's fractionally inside when he weighed in a couple of hours ago.
Well, it sounded as if it was going to be Bullet by the crowd's reaction, but Kunev seems to have appeared on the platform.
Yes, well, that's the coaches for you. All the gamesmanship in the world going on backstage. So, for Australia, 200 kilos.
Yes, interesting to note, he actually attempted to break the world record earlier this year in the Commonwealth Games with 210.
He'll not be unhappy with that.
Yes, and a very competent cleaner.
I think Vakarchuk's going to be next on, so obviously the Turkish lifter, Bullet, is waiting to at a higher weight. I think maybe this was his plan, to go for that bit of glory tonight in the clean and jerk. So Vakarchuk representing Moldavia.
Yes, and he really does look very strong on the clean and jerk. Quite a tall lifter. So unusual for him to look so good.
Yes, and with 167.5 kilos in the snatch, he's not a million miles away from the others. And here's the world champion, 200 kilos. And in fact, one or two of the men, I'm just checking this. This might be, no, it is Dimas. He was originally, we thought he was going to come in at 202.5, but being cautious, being discreet, and maybe making sure that he gets one good lift in before he starts to play games. Or maybe he's not feeling 100%.
That's right, maybe the warm-up didn't go as he planned it to. Always very strong on the clean. But overhead really doesn't look comfortable. And in fact looks a bit dizzy there.
Maybe the bar over the windpipe?
Possibly.
Well, there's a lot of power around at the moment. Power play would be I know we're borrowing that expression from maybe ice hockey, but that's what this is all about. There's the coaches clustered around the board in the back room. There's one looking at the board and another one looking at the lifter, and two of them trying to work out what they're going to do. And if you're Greek and you're a world champion, you don't have to, you've got four. So Dimas sent straight back out to sort this bit of nonsense out.
That's right, got quite a lot to live up to, because not just the world champion, but as we said earlier, Olympic champion in Barcelona in '92. And he seems to have changed his technique. In Barcelona, he was using something called a power jerk in the second phase of the movement, where the legs, rather than splitting one forward and one back, actually go out to the side. So I wonder if he'll change his technique on this lift.
Well, he's going to have to change it on the third lift. Now he's got a very difficult decision. It's really rather pointless if he thinks he can lift the weight, 200 again. The only thing he can do now, surely, David, is to sit and wait, and then go for the biggest risk of the evening when he sees what Huster and Chakoyan and Kapanekstan are really up to.
Well, remember, he did snatch 172.5, but yes, really got a big decision to make now.
Well, he was looking to lift 380, 385 as a total. If he wants to do that, he's really got to sit and wait and suffer, and then come out and in one mighty lift try and pull it off. So this is the discussion that's going on. The clock's ticking away. They've got a minute and 15 seconds to decide.
Yes, begin to wonder whether he's injured again, or whether he's looked at the rest of the opposition and I
think I'm right.
Clock's been stopped.
So the bar with another 2.5 kilos added, and Dimas will have a bit more instruction as Huster comes out to really turn the screw a little bit here, certainly on Dimas, because if he can put this away, that might be the first step on seeing the world champion off.
So Huster, the world record holder with 210, shouldn't really have any problems with this.
Now, does a bit of tidying up as well. Gets a good lift. And that will help him there, because remember, Chakoyan came in at 197.5, and he only had 2.5 kilos advantage over Huster after the snatch, and now that's turned round to a 2.5 kilo advantage for Huster.
I wonder who's coming on the stage now.
Well, we've been fooled before, and we are again. Mikiashvili for Georgia. He was pretty conservative in the snatch. 165 he ended up with. This might be more his game.
Well, a shorter, stocky man. Certainly doesn't have any problems with that.
No, and the fans are there. Good support, nice to see.
Yes, what a change round.
Well, I think when Naim Sunamoglu goes and has a chat with you, you take note. At your peril. Yes, nice lift, good position. And here comes the small man, relatively speaking.
Of course, this lift to 202.5 again will put him in the lead by virtue of body weight. But still, plenty more lifts to come.
So, Kapanaxian for Armenia. Well, that was lovely. This might be a bit hard, and I thought it might be.
Yes, perfect position on the clean. A good pull. In a perfect bottom position, so was able to rise immediately. Yes, but not really able to chuck the bar high enough, lock out the left arm.
I think he's really on the edge of his strength there, David. Might just do it. It's amazing what willpower can do, and he might just do it the next time. Let's hope he does. Good to see the Armenians doing well.
And I think that's the Turkish lifter.
Well, they've kept him back, and he's the only man at the moment who hasn't lifted. So, as you can see, Kapanaxian now considering what to do. Does he come back in and try 202.5? And I think that's probably an intelligent thing to do. He's got a score on the board, so he's going to get a total.
Having said that, he made a bit of a mistake there. It doesn't actually give him the lead, because, of course, other Turkish lifter, Dursun Savink, lifting earlier on today in the B class, managed a lift of 205, so nobody actually surpassing that lift at the moment.
No, but this is Armenia's man, Turkey's man still to appear. Now, it's going to be nip and tuck here. No, the will was there, but the strength wasn't, I'm afraid. And he finishes on 197.5. A few unwelcome whistles around as well. We don't want those. Very funny, the crowd have been much better after a few days. But here he is, 205 kilos on the bar. So it looks to me as if the 165 kilos that was on the bar for the snatch for Sune Bullet was very much the hors d'oeuvre, and this is the 3-course meal, meat and 2 veg, at least the first portion.
Well, he certainly looks much better on that lift. Can he steady himself? He does.
Took a bit of time, but he waited, which is what he had to do. And he moves ahead of the field in the clean and jerk. 205 kilos, we're 5 kilos behind the world record. And this is where that point you made becomes significant. Dursan Sevinc, his teammate who was lifting in the B group, lifted 205 kilos earlier today. And Sevinc was 82.86 kilos his body weight. But Sune, 9.4, means that although the crowd are really happy, technically he hasn't actually got the lead. So still it's the man from this afternoon who isn't on the platform, Sevinc, who's actually in the audience, who's got to sit there and, I suppose, have mixed feelings.
That's right, he'll be loving every failure. But this is the world record holder in the snatch, who is lighter than the man who lifted earlier. So this lift will actually the lead.
And it's a 7.5 kilo increase on his first lift. Oh, but you said he was strong overhead, and my goodness, he really is.
So the Armenian world record holder in the snatch now takes the lead in the clean and jerk and the total.
If he's going to have a problem, it looks in the clean rather than the jerk. But he's only got one more lift to go. And he, I think, might just sit around for a moment as Blychik comes in.
Becomes interesting because Huster now needs to equal his world record to go into the lead.
Well, at 207.5, we're at 205 at the moment. But 207.5 coming up. And Blychik, he can't make 205. That's his second lift.
Yes, Blychik never really looking that stable overhead.
He's lifted 202.5, so he's on current form going into uncharted territory. So now the man from Moldavia, Vadim Vakarichuk. 200 kilos, nicely lifted the first time, 205. My goodness, this is exciting now. The tactics are really coming out. And some men are going to have to be very brave in a few minutes from now. Not least of all, Pyros Dimas of Greece.
Well, I begin to wonder if we're going to see him again.
Well, I've got a suspicion he might just try for glory.
Needs to get the feet in line.
Oh.
Well, the referees really are giving this man a hard time this evening.
That was incredibly tough, and he'll have done himself no good by having to hold that weight up there for that length of time.
It's a very tall lifter. Clean and jerk usually favours the shorter, stockier men.
Just fractions of movement with the feet, but they need those soles to be absolutely flat and sturdy.
Yes, I'd like to see that from the overhead, but we don't get a chance to do so. So, as you said, Pyrrhos from Greece going for the glory.
205, and then really it's all down to everyone else, but I think it's fair to say that I think his world title is going to pass to another. Not his night.
Well, a good effort.
I think he's pretty annoyed with himself, to be honest.
Of course, would have needed 210 to take the lead.
As it is, he doesn't get a total, so the world champion is left with just 172.5 kilos for the snatch. And I don't think that any of us thought that he would go home empty-handed. As it is, he doesn't really. He gets the bronze for the snatch, but that's really minor consolation.
Well, surely.
Blychek, third lift.
I think Blychek being a bit hopeful there. Never really got the weight under control. Wasn't given a down signal.
I think it underlines how good Mark Hooster's record is of 210 kilos. These men being really pushed to their limit tonight. Absolutely everybody on the edge. And there you could see the feet not steady. Karachuk. He's tried 205 once, didn't get it. Remember, it was up in the air a long time. Needs to do this with the minimum of fuss. Not bad.
And gets the down signal this time.
And he's got the 205, and I think he deserves that. So the Moldavian gets a pretty decent total. $362.5.
And goes into the lead by virtue of lighter body weight.
380 is the world standard, likely has not been achieved.
Now it'll be interesting to see what Mark Hooster takes for his second attempt, because 207 would give him the lead in the clean and jerk, possibly, but needs 210 to take the lead in the total.
Now Kirill Kunev, he's had just one lift, 200 kilos. That was good. So this is a big increase. And as you said, he did have a crack at the world record, 210 kilos in Victoria. So if he gets this, he could have another crack at it.
Yes, very good on the clean. But
didn't get that bar high or over his head at all, did he?
That's right. Similar thing happened in Victoria. The Commonwealth Games was very good on the clean, but really needs to work hard on that jerk. And again, not getting it high enough. And if we watch from the overhead, as well as not chucking the bar high enough, almost leaning away from it.
So 207.5. He's now got a choice as well. If he fancies himself to go for 210, well, maybe he's going to pass and wait. We've still got Bullet for Turkey. He's only had one lift at 205, and Çakıran's had 205, and he's okay. And here's a man we haven't seen for a short time. This is Dina Mikashvili. He's taken 202.5. He looked very good. And this is 207.5. So there are all sorts of possibilities here. And this arguably the most competitive of all the competitions in the World Championships so far.
Well, he's told to put the weight down. I suspect the elbows touch the knees, which
yes, they did.
They did. So he'll have to take that again.
Çakıran for his third and final lift. He's not missed one all night.
This incidentally will give him a new world record because the world standard set at 380. If you remember, he broke the world record earlier in the snatch with 175.5.
So 383 would be the new world record. This is the man who's looked so positive overhead. So if he gets it up, there's every chance.
But this time, the jerk lets him down.
So
the ball now in Mark Hooster's court.
So we have an interesting situation. You have Çakıran, who got lifted 205 second time, plus his 175, which gives him 380, which equals the standard.
This means Hooster will need to equal his own world record if he's going to be world champion. So, Kunev cleans well. But again, the jerk, not really there.
And it's, remember, it's worth noting that the 205 of Çakıran, the lift for Armenia that gives him the lead at the moment, but still in with a shout of the medals, the man from this afternoon, Dursan Sevinç of Turkey, with 205 kilos. So as you said, he's been loving every failure, and he can't believe his luck at the moment, but surely it's going to run out at some point. Now, Mikashvili of Georgia, 26 years of age, 7th in Europe, 7th in the world, 7th in the world rankings. Should finish a bit harder than that tonight.
Well, this for the lead on the clean and jerk. Really needs to get those elbows up in that bottom position. And he does so. That leaves the hips behind the bar.
And so, with two failures at 207.5, he drops back down with just 202.5, his first successful lift, to go with the 165, which gives him a total of 367.5. The man of the moment.
Well, he's going for it. He wants the overall.
210 kilos to equal his world record, but to set a new world total and to decisively take the lead. A deep step back and a good step forward.
Well, there it is, a new world record total. And I don't think anybody's going to be able to catch him now.
He's still got one lift left, though, so he can go for a new world record in the clean and jerk. He can go for a big one, or he can just add half a kilo on, whichever he chooses. But what he's doing now is to try and put the pressure on those who remain, and in particular Turkey's man Sunay Bulut, and there he is. Remember, he's been patiently sitting around 5-10 minutes. He's lifted 205, so he's got 2 lifts in hand, and he's going for the world record. He's trying to take the smile away from Huster, because remember, there are 2 titles at stake at this particular moment, and Bulut can really only get one of them, and that's the clean and jerk. Oh, he looks strong. And they don't deceive either. 2-1 against.
But of course, that lift, although it may have given him the world record, still wouldn't have given him the gold medal, because the half kilo not counting in the competition, and Bulut slightly heavier. Huster. I don't think the crowd are very happy with that decision, David.
Well, they wouldn't be. But
I think it's that left arm, and didn't really wait for the down signal.
Yes, it always a bit more rush than it needed to be. He did the clean pretty effectively, but then if he'd just taken, I think, a fraction longer.
Yes, if we look at that left arm, not really locked out, and he never waited for the down signal. So I think in this case, the referee's justified. Although I'm not sure that I'd want to be one of those referees.
No. Maybe not, but I think they did their job absolutely correctly there. And really, it rather hands the advantage back to Huster. If I was Huster now, I'd be trying to encourage this man to come out and do his 3rd lift. He really won't want the way round. He wants to put pressure now onto Bulut to make a commitment, which is either he goes for the same weight and then leaves it open. But he can't really, because he is heavier.
Well, coming out again to attempt the world record, but remember, Huster still has an attempt left.
So that's the tactic. They're letting their man lift at this in the belief that Huster will struggle at anything bigger. Well, that looks as if it's okay.
Well, he has the world record, but as I said before, the 0.5 of a kilo, not competition, so Huster still has the gold on the jerk, still has the gold on the total.
But Bulut's assured of a place on the podium.
Yes, and Huster still 1 lift remaining, so I think he'll definitely be going for a new world record clean and jerk, and yet another total world record.
But this is the title that the German squad were hoping for. And as it stands now, Huster's got 210, and of course he's got 172.5. So he's got a total of 382.5, and he reckoned that he'd have to lift something like that.
So here he is, 112 kilos.
Or 212, actually.
212 even.
What's 100 kilos?
What's 100 kilos between friends?
Yes.
So now, this for another world record clean and jerk, a world record total, and of course, well, he's already won the gold medal.
So well, it wasn't to be.
I don't think he's too bothered.
The world record has gone to Turkey's Sune Bulut, but Mark Huster has exchanged that world record for the total world record, and he's taken this gold medal by virtue of his lighter body weight. I think he will be disappointed about that. Wanted to have given his record away.
Well, no, wouldn't have wanted to give his record away, but I spoke to him a couple of years back, and he told me that his one aim in life was to be the overall world champion, and he certainly achieved that tonight.
Well, the Turks believe that they've got the result they came for.